This is Standing Watch. And now, Evangelist Norbert Link.
Greetings everyone and welcome back to our Standing Watch program. Remarkable statements have been made this week by European leaders pointing at the direct fulfillment of biblical prophecy. We have here an article by Newsmax and the Associated Press dated November 11 saying this: French President Emmanuel Macron warned against the dangers of nationalism in a speech aimed directly at the rising tide of populism in the United States and Europe. Macron said the ancient demons that caused World War I and millions of deaths are growing stronger. He also said patriotism is the exact opposite of nationalism. Now let me just interject and tell you that the Church of God, and of course today the Church of the Eternal God, has always taught that nationalism is wrong. You can be, as a true Christian, a patriot, but you mustn't be a nationalist. You know, we need to look at definitions here. The Oxford Dictionary defines nationalism as identification with one's own nation and support for its interests, especially to the exclusion or detriment of the interests of other nations. And also the Webster Dictionary says, exalting one nation above all others and placing primary emphasis on promotion of its culture and interests as opposed to those of other nations. Now that is the getaway. This has nothing to do with loving your neighbor as yourself. This is not the giveaway. Slogans like Deutschland über alles, Germany above all, or America above all, or Austria above all, whatever it may be, are not in line with Christian values. Bloomberg added now on November 9. Macron this week said in a radio interview that a strong and sovereign Europe was needed to defend the continent's interests against China, Russia, and even the United States. We cannot defend Europe if we do not have a real European army, he said. We must have a Europe that can defend itself more without just relying on the United States. Of course, this caused all kinds of consternation. President Trump was very strong in his rebuttal. And so Macron's office came back and said, oh, he has been misunderstood. And they even suggested that Macron had been referring to computer hackers who would attack Europe from anywhere, including from the United States. Now that's quite ridiculous. Computer hackers were not the subject of his comment. There was no misunderstanding. Macron clearly proposed a European army to defend against Washington. And he did state what most European leaders feel. I have an article here by The Sun, dated November 10, saying that Macron's comments were welcome by the EU Commission. They said we are already in the process of creating a European army. Bild Online wrote on November 11 that Andrea Nahles, who is the leader of Germany's coalition party, the SPD, demanded a European army. Her rationale? There are 28 armies, 27 air forces and 23 marines. No wonder that we spend incredibly much for the military, she said. Europeans should work closer together and form a counterbalance to President Trump. It's always that issue. Now everybody was waiting with anticipation as to what Angela Merkel would say about a European army, and finally she did on November 13. And Deutsche Welle reported that she said the following in Strasbourg. We need to take our fate into our own hands. To that end, she said she would also propose the establishment of a European Security Council with a rotating presidency that would help to streamline European defense and security policy. in a clear show of support for Macron's plans to create a European defense force, Merkel said the EU should work on a vision for a real European army, quote, that would complement NATO, not undermine it. A European army, she said, would show the world that there will be never again war between European countries. But she said more than that. She also said that a stronger Europe is going to defend Europe. And now listen to this comment. It would be a lot easier to cooperate with us if we have more than 160 different weapons systems and the US has only 50 or 60. So you got to be blind if you don't see where that's going. It's talking about the creation of a real European army, and as the EU Commission has pointed out, they're already working on it. They're already working on it. But it doesn't stop there. Handelsblatt Global wrote on November 13 that France's Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire said this: the European Union should become a peaceful empire in order to stand up to China and the United States. It's going to be all about power. He said Europe cannot be shy any longer about using its power. Everybody knows it takes guts to stand in the way of Donald Trump's administration. The people of Europe want to see action. Without Germany's support in all these issues, Le Maire will find it difficult to turn Europe into an empire. Franco-German agreement has been the engine of European integration. And you know what? That's exactly what we are going to see. The ancient Roman Empire is going to rise up one more time in Europe. And the Bible had been talking about this all along. It would rise 10 times. It has arisen 9 times before. This is a final resurrection or revival of the ancient Roman Empire, and it is going to be a very powerful empire under German leadership. The Bible makes this very clear. We have prepared a free booklet, the 10 European revivals of the ancient Roman Empire. And that final revival is coming up right now, and it is going to be antagonistic towards the United States. And what we are seeing right now in those comments by those European leaders is in direct fulfillment and anticipation of what is going to happen. You need to read this booklet. You should very carefully study it because it's telling you what is going to happen in the very, very near future. Thank you very much for listening. This is Norbert Link for the Standing Watch program.
Standing Watch is a presentation by The Church of the Eternal God, P.O. Box 270519, San Diego, California 92198. More information is also available at our website, eternalgod.org.